Hello, this is Joe Sonona with Sonona Speaks Seminars, and this is Coffee Talk with the Listing Pros in Real Estate. And my guest this week is Brian Bartholomew from eXp Realty out in California. Here I come. How are you, Brian?
It's great. Southern California, we're 75 degrees today. It's getting a little warm again, so it's tough to be here in January.
30 degrees here in New York. You want to trade?
No, thank you. It's awesome right now. So
Tell
good
us
weather.
a little bit about yourself, where you're from, and how you got into real estate.
Well, Southern California mostly all my life. Been here since 1972. So since I was 2 years old, so that tells you how old I am now. But I'm in Fullerton, California, which is in North Orange County, and people always, they go Disneyland and go north 10 minutes. So that's kind of where we're at. I got into real estate in 2014. Prior to that, my wife and I owned a couple what was called Gymboree playing music franchises, which used to be really big, but obviously with everything going on, everything shut down. But so we sold just in time.
Wow.
But yeah, so we owned those for a long time, and then kind of the last few years of owning those, we had them running really well, and I needed I'm a always on the go type of person, so I needed something else to do to kind of fill the time. So it was a good problem to have, and my wife made a comment like, "Hey, if you could do something where you could talk to people for a living, you'd do great," because that's I guess my specialty. So a friend of ours, kind of a mentor, said you should try real estate, and okay, took the classes, and he introduced me to his broker at the time, who was a new broker for the area, and I was lucky number 13 in the office, and kind of just went from there, and after about a year and a half, 2 years in real estate, I was like, I'm just too busy with real estate, and it's time to sell the Gymborees and just go full time with this, just do something new. So.
And you're killing it right now. You are absolutely killing it. You're the man of California, Orange County.
I don't know about that, but we're working on it. So,
well, you're good. You're a hardworking young man, and got a great career ahead of you. Tell me, what is your secret sauce to listing real estate?
Gosh, that's a good question. I don't know if it's a real secret. I really just tell people, I'm honest. I'm really honest with my clients, and when I walk in the door, and I used to do a really fancy listing presentation and moving things around on the iPad, and here's all these things and everything else, and now I just go in and I kind of show them the websites we make and that type of stuff. But really, I walk in with a yellow pad, and the first question I ask them is like, "Tell me why I'm here and what I can do for you." And really from there, just I let the conversation go and find out what their why is, and see if I can get them to that end point, and we talk through it. And usually my conversations end up going off and talking about our kids and different things. We get back to the listing, and what could be a 30-minute listing conversation or appointment ends up being an hour and a half.
How long usually in a listing presentation?
Maybe I mean I try to shoot for less than an hour.
Less than an hour.
Yeah, but I've had them go 30 minutes, and like I said, I've had them go an hour and a half. It just depends on how chatty we get. And my whole thing is, I was on talking to somebody the other day, and I was just saying, look, I just walk in and try to be friendly and try to teach them or treat them like they're my friends or my family, and just get to know them. And those conversations turn into, hey, do you want something to drink? You want to hang out a little bit? And so by the time we've listed the house, we're friends. And so hopefully I don't screw up the friendship during that listing.
I find a lot of people to be very hospitable. They offer me all sorts of stuff. Hey, you want a drink? Hey, you want some water? Hey, you want a meal? It's nice because you're at home and you're trying to get the full experience of their abode. This is their home. Yeah. This is a house to us, but a home to them, right?
Absolutely. I just try to let the conversation go and just see where it does go to. Like I said, most of the times it goes away and then we come back. But I don't walk into a listing. I listened to a podcast a while back, and the guy was talking about surrendering the outcome. Just don't focus on what the outcome is. Surrender, be authentic, surrender the outcome, do hard work, or do the difficult work. And just
would you say that's your secret sauce, is to surrender the outcome?
I think so. Yeah, I don't worry about, honestly, I don't worry about, everything's not hanging on that one listing or that one buyer or that one offer. You can't control the outcome on it. And I do my best just to educate people. And then, yeah, just if it happens, it happens. So.
Do you use any special technology to market your listings?
Yeah. In fact, we have a listing going up today. Just put one up today. And so we'll do, our office or my marketing team, they'll make a custom website for the client and for the property. We'll make custom templates for that, and we do a lot of social media. I've gone almost 100% away from print. I stopped doing postcards and flyers, and plus with COVID, can't do flyers and all that stuff anyways. But I've just gone 100% away from postcards, and everything is social media based or email based. And so we'll do big email blasts, and we actually do it to other agents in the area, not just to potential clients and buyers.
Right.
And that's one thing I tell clients is, I'm no stranger to double listing, a deal. I'm not a stranger to that, but that's not my ultimate goal. My ultimate goal is to do the best for them that I can. And so we'll reach out to about 1,500 agents in the area that have maybe worked there. They've even done any kind of a deal in the last 2 or 3 years. We get their name and send them the property and see if they have somebody else that can come in. Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So tell me about, it wasn't always this easy for you as a new agent. What advice would you give to a new agent coming into the business?
I've talked to a lot of new agents lately, it seems. And when they ask, what should I do? I said, you know what, do this. Go home, make a list of 25 people that if you called them tomorrow, they would take your call and they would listen to a conversation with you. I said, and so they do that, and they come back and say, okay, now go make 25 phone calls. They have to be all in one day. And then once you have those phone calls, once you have those phone calls, make a list of another 25 and do another 25 and another 25, but when you're on the phone, don't be afraid to remind them, you're in real estate. If they need anything at all, you can help them, and you'd love to get together with some coffee and just talk about, what you can do for them and what you're doing now, and just catch up on each other's lives.
And then what do you do with that list of 25?
Well, you keep them really in your, I guess, like a rotation, but you really just stay in touch, and so you send, I do a weekly email, that all those people are in on, but I make sure I follow those people on Facebook and Instagram and everywhere else, and they're following me, and just kind of, it's really strengthening those relationships that you used to have, that you fell out, and you're doing it partly for business reasons, but you're doing it really to stay in touch with people because,
correct.
I've done it. I've had people come back to me and said, brand new agent came back and said, oh my gosh, I called this person I haven't talked to for 2 years, and she knows somebody that wants to buy a house, and she sent them to me. It's like, great. So that's right. Just, this doesn't work on its own.
That's right.
You have to be an active user. So, but that's really the best advice I can give people is get on the phone, make a list of 25 people. Once you've gone through those 25, make another 25, and then the next month, call them again, and create emails or whatever you want to do. Start doing the little pop-by.
Well, especially, let's say, in the major cities like New York, California, Chicago, all these places where there has been total shake-up and shake-out, of people with their mass exoduses of, going from state to state to try to find a better, peaceful environment. I don't know what you call it.
Way of life.
People say, "Oh, Manhattan." I just right up until this morning said Manhattan is an empty, barren place. I said I saw people there the last time I was there. Yeah. I said, these cities are going to come back again, and they're just in a state of transition. So, how is it going over there in California, in your part of California, anyway?
I was just on the phone with an agent today, actually in Rhode Island. And talking to her, just having a conversation with somebody I met on Instagram, and just kind of building relationships. And I told her, excuse me, I told her last year I had 12 families move out of state. 12 of my clients left me, so
wow.
So that's why you got to be on the phone. But but people are still buying, people are still selling, but just probably like you guys. Well, it may be different there than it is here, but here the inventory is just so low and so tight that that's why you're making these phone calls to talk to people, because you never know when the next person is leaving the state.
We have the same healthy problem here, lack of inventory as well. And us who are listers, we prospect a different way. We talk to people, and we make a living by a lot of referral sources. And when I say us, I'm talking about like the more experienced agents, the people that have been in the business a long time. Tell me, would you give somebody like myself advice, and what would that advice be if you had to give somebody like me advice? If I went up to you and said, Brian, I have no inventory, I got nothing here going on, what kind of advice can you give me?
Well, I know in New York it's tough because you can't call people, or are you allowed to call people yet?
No, we're still not calling people. Hopefully by the time this broadcast airs, the governor will see the light and ask us if we can.
Yeah, you guys are opening restaurants up, so get ready. It's finally seen that the businesses are crushed.
Let's hope that he has sense enough to let us to release us from captivity.
Well, I would say again, use this. Use your phone. Call the people that are not on a do not call list, or you're not going to get busted for. Friends, relatives. Ask them if they know of anybody you can talk to. It'd be okay to call. Just introduce yourself. Say, I'm looking to kind of expand my reach a little bit and meet more people during these times. It's really difficult, and I need your help. That's always a great way to use a phrase. I need your help with this. There's not a lot of inventory out there. Can you just keep me in mind? Who do you know right now that might know somebody? And just that way you kind of get around that do not call idea, because maybe it's a warm handoff to a friend or family member, and because out here we can still call, and I don't know if you can email out there either. Can you do cold emails?
Yeah, we can email.
Okay.
He lets us do that. He lets us do that.
So I do video emails with BombBomb. So I use the BombBomb platform, and I'll go into a place maybe where I'd usually circle prospect to that maybe you can't call into, but I get all the email addresses in there and send out a BombBomb video, not so much salesy, just saying, I'll do like a 30-second video and just say, hey, my name is Brian Bartholomew of the eXp Realty. I'm a local realtor. We have so many families right now looking to move into your area. If you know of anybody looking to sell a home, I just appreciate you, reaching out to me and letting me know, or letting them know that we have people looking in the area, because I've sold several homes in your area and we just have no inventory. So if you need anything at all, please reach out to me, and I'd love to have a conversation.
Do you think old pros like myself are more apt to embrace new technology, or, keep a client base going? Because I find that, like you said, your clients are moving out of state. My clients are not just moving out of state, but some of them have, rest in peace, they passed away.
Sure. Well,
so the fact that they passed away is a problem for me, because I've made some relationships with family members and their family members.
And a problem for them, for sure. So
yeah.
Well,
I'm not going anywhere. Not yet, anyway. Exactly.
Watch yourself, my friend. No, I think so. I think if I know agents here that are in their 60s and even getting into their 70s, and they're starting to ask, what do we need to do next? Because same time, they're now working with their clients' grandchildren, finding homes and things like that. And it's like, okay, well, how are you leveraging, for lack of a better word, how are you leveraging the grandchildren to get the grandchildren's friends? What are you doing now? So yeah, I think they have to embrace it to continue going, because they can't wait for another generation. They can't wait another 15, 20 years. It's just they've got to get to work. So I definitely think so. Yeah.
That's cool. Do you have any other advice for new agents or anybody coming in as far as listings? Because this is a listing tool show that I created so that listers like yourself can really, it wasn't always easy for you to list property.
No, but I think it's, you can practice with people if you want to practice your listing presentation. I think number one is be prepared. Walk in the door with your. I always walk in the door with the paperwork, even if they tell me on the phone, we're not signing today. That's fine. I still walk in. I walk in with a folder, basically very simple, folder, and inside of it, it'll have all the listing documents on one side, and on the other side, it has all the comparables. It has the tax information on their property. It has the disclosure forms just to show them what they're going to need to fill out, once we do list. A couple of my business cards, I take that with me. But I'm prepared. I know what's selling or what's sold in the area. And I think that's the biggest thing. People want an agent who has knowledge of the area.
Right.
I hear that all the time.
Right.
Yeah. And even if I'm not in that market, I take listings, technically in a 50-mile radius, I have listings in the past, and I don't know an area 50 miles away, but I can tell you by the time I get to that door, I know that area as if I've been there for the last 10 years. Right. I know everything I can know about it, and I think that's the number one key for new agents is know that, because then you're not nervous during the appointment. They ask you a question, you can absolutely, and bring a notepad with you, and when they're talking, take notes and let them know, I'm going to go ahead. I'm just letting you know I'm taking notes, during our conversation, just in case I need to ask you a question.
Correct.
Is that okay? Yeah, sure. And so you need to be engaged with them. You need to have the knowledge going in and prepared. But then, like I said before, then it's just create a relationship with them, while you're there as well. So, the preparation.
Relationships. Speaking of relationships, we have the fiduciary relationships, the core foundation principles of our business to our clients. And I always ask our guests on the show, which one of these would you pick and why? And if you had to pick one, why would you pick that one? So I'll start with the naming them: confidentiality, accountability, reasonable care, obedience, loyalty, disclosure. Which one would you pick, Brian Bartholomew, and why?
Oh man, that's tough because there's so much. I do them all, honestly.
Obedience, loyalty, disclosure, confidentiality, reasonable care.
Tell me what your definition of reasonable care would be. Mm-hmm. That sounds like it encompasses
reasonable
more than one
care.
Thing. Yeah, that sounds like it would cover more than one thing. So what would I'm asking you, Joe. What would you think reasonable care would encompass? Because it sounds like it would actually take over a few things.
What you do in your listings, and I've watched you take very good care of your clientele, and I've watched you, account to them and care for them and sit down with them and nurture them and see the and set the expectations. That's reasonable care.
So I would say that would be my most important, because I think that encompasses a lot of those other things. I think reasonable care has you taking care of that client and doing all those things. And I think
you switched that whole question around on me, didn't you?
I did. Yeah, I did.
That was pretty slick. That was pretty slick.
But I honestly think that reasonable care is going to take into account that making sure that they are doing their disclosures correctly, that you are making sure you're keeping them updated on what needs to happen next. You are financially responsible for them as well. I always tell people when we're signing paperwork, I always say, look, I'm signing this with you. So I'm 100% responsible for whatever you're signing as well. So I want to make sure that you understand everything that's happening from the beginning and through the process. And I think by doing that also and taking reasonable care, it takes that idea of a huge stress situation like selling or buying a house, right, and it takes a lot of the stress away, because they know, like you were saying, it sets expectations for them on what's coming up and that type of thing. So I think reasonable care is probably, that's the whole idea of the friends and treating them like a friend or a family member, and really making sure that not only are they legally taken care of, but really emotionally and psychologically as well, because that's really where the rubber's going to hit the road.
Right.
Is if they start losing their mind or get stressed about something, then it just turns into whole can of worms you didn't want to open up. So yeah, I would say reasonable care.
You sell a house there. Do you normally relocate them in your area, or 9 times out of 10, or do you relocate them out of state?
I'm trying to think of a lot of my last listings. They're usually, last year they were going out of state, and I had a lot of investment properties that were vacant or they had tenants in them as well. In the area because they have family and friends in the area, so they want to stay. But I would say a lot of them are moving out of the area to somewhere else.
Okay. Well, listen, this has been great. Any last minute thoughts? Any parting words before we go?
I can't believe that's it. What do you mean?
That's it.
I didn't even take a drink yet. Hold on.
Wait a minute. Let me get my coffee.
No, I would say just 2021 is going to be a great year for, honestly, I think for buyers and sellers and agents if they get out and do the work and they prepare their clients correctly. And it's just the agents that are going to fall off are the ones that are just searching, and just hoping it's going to come to them.
Like, we have the tools, we have the technology. It's like the $6 Million Man episode. With gentlemen, we have the tools, we have the technology, but what more do you think agents want? And can I ask you a question? What do you think the brokers and the managers should be doing in 2021?
They've got to be doing some huge support, and coming out with these new ways to make it easier for the agents to get referrals to, from friends and family, teach them how to use their phone as an actual, recruiting tool or whatever it is for clients. I think that's the number one thing is going to be support. I mean, that's one reason why, I moved to where I did, with EXP, because I have access now to so much support with guys like you around the country and everywhere else, not just in California, but I've got people now I can talk to in New York. I've got people in Florida. I got people in Alabama. I've got people in every state now.
Well, you built a network of referrals, but what happens to the person that's out there who works for ABC Realty and finds themselves lost in 2021? Is that manager or broker going to be on their game for, is this game on? Are you telling me this is game on for 2021?
Absolutely. Because I just think if they're not on their game, then those people will be calling someone like me or someone like you or someone that is on a brokerage that is going to take care of them. Because I think it's like anything else. At the end, it's like starting of the new year, everyone joins a gym and then they drop off after 28 days.
Right.
But this is different because we just went through probably one of the worst years psychologically of our lives, and physically, obviously, with COVID and everything going on. And so it's just so difficult. So this year, people are coming out of the woodwork like, man, I need something new. I want 2021
I just actually interviewed somebody today that told me that he can't remember what happened between March and July, practically. He said everything is a fog to him. So it could very well be that, everyone went into a fog and now is waking up and saying, oh, man, he says, I have to go and either switch my brokerage or we need to have a conversation with my broker.
And that's what I was going to say. You need to go in and you need to have a conversation and demand that I know it sounds wrong, but you need to demand that something changes because at the end of the day, it shouldn't be you're there for your broker. The broker needs to be there for you.
And I think though, not just demand something of your broker, but I think the broker has to demand something of you too. Because if you're dealing with a lump on the log, and I've been where brokers and managers are today, if you're dealing with a lump on the log, first of all, that person shouldn't be working in the brokerage with you.
Sure.
And I think that person should also, they need to meet each other halfway. And if one person is not meeting the other one halfway, then by all means, there should be some sort of a change.
Well, of course, it's like with anything. I think it has to be, here's what I've been doing, or here's what I'm willing to do. What are you willing to do?
Right.
And hey, look, no sweat off my brow. If you don't want to do these things or get me to where I want to be, walk in with a goal. Hey, look, I want to do whatever, 50 million in sales this year. Can you help me get there? show me how I can get there so I stick around, because if not, I've got to find somebody that can, or 10 million does, or whatever the amount is. Walk in and say, how can I get there? And if the broker says, well, look, you're not doing these things, say, okay, then I'll do these things.
That's correct.
And let's see how it goes. Let's give it a 6-month shot here. But if you're not pulling the line with me, or we're rowing in a different way, we're going in a circle, and I shouldn't stay. So
that's correct.
I think for sure you got to have accountability on both sides, for sure. You're correct with that, but you definitely have to have accountability from the broker side, not just to sit back and just kind of, hey, here's how you sign up, or here's how you do this, and go for it, buddy, and pat on the button out the door. True. You're going to be great. And then every month they have a rah-rah meeting. It's like, stop going to rah-rah meetings 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Stop
giving your agents balloons and chocolate and trophies and certificates and placards. Give them money. Give them incentive to grow. Give them a business plan. Give them a coach. I love the fact that some brokers are paying for coaching for their realtors. I love the fact that people are paying for training. But it all boils down to the agent. Get busy working or get busy not working, right?
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
That's a spin just for you from Shawshank Redemption.
Get busy dying. I got it. One of my favorite movies.
It's one of mine too. But get busy working already. 2021 is here, and this is the start of the new year. And guys like you who are an inspiration to new agents, to existing agents, you're going to always be in the business because you already tapped into, and what it takes to make your career so successful. Good for you, Brian.
And like you, I'm always available. If someone wants to reach out to me on Instagram or Facebook or on
What's
Instagram.
your handle on Instagram?
At Agent B Realtor.
Awesome.
Real simple. But they can reach out.
Look up Brian Bartholomew on Instagram and he'll inspire you. Ask him a question.
Please.
Well, thank you so much for this. This was great. I look forward to speaking with you in the future. And this is Joe Sonona with Sonona Speaks Seminars. And this week's guest was Brian Bartholomew right here on Coffee Talk. So tune in every weekend for another exciting episode of these listing pros in real estate. Thank you so much. Have a good day, everyone.
Appreciate it. Thanks.